Don here. Okay, back again with another live stream, back on the Net Pro Max, and this time I'm gonna just got through writing my Fedora 28 image to my USB stick again and again. See the previous video for all that fun, and now I'm gonna go ahead and install Fedora 28 server again. This time, instead of on that 20 gig hard drive, which ran out of space, I'm going to use my 80 gig hard drive that used to be in my IBM server. And I actually tried to put Fedora 29 on it yesterday, and it failed on me. So I got a couple of errors, and then it failed. Or I guess one error really, but it took me a while to get it straightened out, several tries. So we're going to go to Cam 2 so that I can switch over there. And until I get it booted up, and then once I get it booted up, I will edit the grub menu and start VNC remote desktop, and then I'll be able to come back to the desktop and do it remotely. But so that we can see what's going on, so you can see, I can see it, of course, but well, I have to switch over to the machine. And I just realized I need to check my stream. Make sure it's all good. I hadn't done that yet. I just saw that the preview was actually not. It was sitting there with the reload circle error thing going, and I realized I hadn't even checked my sound or anything. So let's get that. Make sure everything's good. It shows to be green at least. It's not. I started out yellow again. It's been doing that every time lately. And so I stop it and start again. Still not loading. I don't know if it's this machine or. Well, now it's finally loaded. I hate sitting here just waiting, especially when I'm just showing you a black screen. I guess I wasn't thinking I could have went on with it, everything. I don't expect it to take that long, and then it does. Okay, so I've already got my USB stick in the Net Pro Max. All I have to do is start it up. I was looking to see, it looked like part of that monitor was cut off, but I think it's just perfect. It's so close. And, I was looking on my preview, Sun's up. Well, at least it moved around. It was shining right in my face. But I have to change the, okay, now, yeah, this one's a new write of the media, so I'm going to check it first. So it always defaults to test this media, and I always hurry up and hit the arrow key to stop it from, it'll just go ahead and, boot to that. And it takes me a second to realize what it is I want to do. Normally, I just want to go to the top, and I go hit the up arrow button by nature now, because normally I don't want to test the media because I've already done it, or I just decided to risk it. So anyway, I'm going to test it, I think. That's what I hit. I was sitting there playing with those buttons. If I didn't, if it's just boots into the installer, I'll know I screwed up. And I want to test it because I'm having trouble getting a good write that that passes the test. It's just Fedora 29 failed and then passed, and then this one failed, and so I just reformatted the thing with Gparted, the USB stick, and then did it again. And hopefully it's all straightened up and going to work. Let's see if it's doing the test. Yeah, it's doing the test. Doesn't take too long. Well, my preview sure is behind what's going on, but it usually it comes out in the wash. Oh, you are kidding me. Now, what did I say to myself? I said, self, I think you should check that Fedora 28 ISO image. I thought, well, I don't know. I checked it when I downloaded it. And it was good. And I've been using it. See, I had it on there. I had it on this USB stick, this very same one. And I erased it and put 29 on there. And then I erased it again and put 28 back on there. And, of course, I don't know if that's the original download for sure, though. I don't know if I might have even, deleted it from that folder and then thought, oh, wait, I'm going to need it, because I don't, when I write USB sticks, I always try to remember to unplug my big old backup drive so that I don't accidentally erase all my backups, right? And so I could have deleted it and said, oh, now I need it, so copied it back. I realized, well, I'm going to need it later, so I copied it back. But it's failed again. Something's really gone crazy here. And the reason I decided to go back to 28 because I decided Fedora 29 wasn't ready for prime time because I had a catastrophic failure at the end while I was trying to install stuff. But I picked every software group that I thought I might be interested in. And I know there was a bug in one, the one that was Security Labs. NTOP failed. Dependency was a conflict, really, is what it was. Anyway, the files weren't there on the server, is what it said. But it took me a while to find out. It didn't tell you, it just told you which app was failed, not what group it was in. I had to figure out what group it was in. And so then I went through all that, and then when I got about 3/4 of the way installed, and then it catastrophically failed. And anyway, that's in the previous videos. But this is, see if I can read such tiny text. I could check isomod. I can't read it all for details. It'll be gone once I reboot on any logs or anything from this. Anyway, yeah, it looks basically like the previous failure of the test. Now I'm getting aggravated. I certainly did not expect it to fail again. I thought it might have something to do with Fedora Media Writer because it does some really different things the way it formats it. Different than it's not FAT32. I think it's putting an LVM on there and then I'm beginning to figure out. I think it's putting an LVM on there, logical volume management, and then putting 3 partitions inside of that, which are probably all ext4, but it definitely not the standard things that not that a USB stick cares what kind of file system is on it, like the flash memory works. I don't imagine it works any better or worse with other different file systems, but the software, how can I say it? Most systems are made to work well with FAT32 on flash memory. So most hardware and software that they write, Anyway, I'm gonna have to hard shut it down and do it again. Now I'm gonna have to check that image. I guess I had a feeling and I didn't pay attention. I thought about it and I thought, well, I've used it at least once or twice already. That's what I was thinking. I'm trying to shut it down right now. Okay. And I don't think there's anything wrong with my USB stick because, I've been using it for years and it could always fill up or something, but let me get... Fill up, I meant. It could always get worn out. They only have so long to work, and it could be... well, I found out recently that flash memory, that's what's on. USB sticks, SD cards, they're flash memory. That's what they are. And that's what the memory that they use. That's what the memory chip, the chip that is the memory that holds the files, it's flash. Okay, yeah, well, so I still have my backup drive plugged in. Now, I figured out with all these reformatting and everything, that's what happened. That's what it does. I was wondering why it was doing that right there. It does that. That's because the Fedora format that it does, it's not recognizable to the file managers on the. I figured out. So I'll just look at it right quick. It has. There's the main partitions and all the files are there. I looked through them, and I don't believe that hurts anything because I do it almost every time unless I'd forget. Has that Anaconda, and that's the other partition. Let's see, does it say what there in the top. I guess it doesn't say. Oh yeah, NFS Plus. NFS, that's what it is. I forgot. I saw that a while ago. And there's another Anaconda. There's two of them. And that's VFAT. So it's a VFAT, which is FAT32. I guess that's so. I think that's the one with grub on it. One of them had grub in it. And now that I've got them mounted, I can go through them. Yeah, there's one with grub on it. That's the one that's HFS Plus. And then the other one is, it doesn't say anything but ISO 9660. So anyway, you know, that makes me curious. Before I go ahead and just do it again, I'm going to put it in, open up the, you know, the partition, like gparted and maybe the Fedora. Oh, the one in Fedora 28 I think is Blivet or something instead of the, let's see. Let's get back to the video so that I can check, see that my backup video is being made in case anything else went wrong. Oh yeah, I wanted to check this file and make sure it's okay. Why don't I do that before I forget? Yeah, there's no need to copy, you know, like this is the one I've been writing from. So let's go to the Fedora website and run the checksum on it. I'll just download them into that folder so that I'll have them. I mean, so that it'd be I think the quickest way to do it. Now let's. I'm going to go to my links, go to my bookmarks, and let's go to the. Okay, let's just say we were going to download Compass Fusion. Yeah, 29 is officially out now. I thought it might be the other day when I was on here. So if I want 28, I'll probably have to go to. I've got several Fedora 28 folders now. Let's see. Well, some are about research, looks like. See, now they're going to be like in the older version section. So. I don't know. I could go back to 29 and try it again, but I mean, it's always, when they release a new one, there's always, at least the first 6 months, usually even longer, they're still working out bugs. And since I came across what seemed like bugs in the installer, sometimes I just kind of, seems a lot better for stability to stay almost a full release behind. Say about 6 months behind. I end up staying up a lot further behind than that usually, like 2 or 3 years. Once I get a system all built up and working really good, I don't want to mess it up. All right, so oh, I know. Fedora downloads. That's where I can find alternate architectures, alternate downloads. That's what I want to think. That should take me to, it didn't take me to what I was thinking. What have I got? I think this is going to be 29. Yeah, that's 29. So let's just go to the Fedora server. I think it's going to be 29. Yeah, it's all been changed to 29 now. Go to alternate downloads. Maybe I missed. Previous versions. Sometimes this stuff links to stuff like this at the very bottom of the page. Let's see. I think the alternative downloads is, maybe that's it. Instead of alternative. Let's see if that's it. I think that's where I was already at. I'm just going to the download so that I can get the checksum is what I'm doing. And the the NetInstall version is not available in the Fedora Media Writer to automatically download. So, and you do need to have the checksum, the checksums for that version. I do have them on my backup drive, but I thought I'd go ahead and download it again. I can't believe that. It makes it really tricky, once they go to a new version. All your links, generally, they just go ahead. The links are the same, but the pages are different. They just update their pages, to the new version. Which makes good sense, but it makes it hard to find where did they put the older stuff, Where did they put last week's stuff in this case, or a couple of weeks ago is all it was, maybe a month. It's just like 2 weeks ago when I read it's coming out soon. I don't know why I never caught and remembered the date, but I didn't. Yeah, they don't have like a search for the entire site either, an on-site search, so that you can find stuff. Maybe I've got that link that I'm looking for in there instead of in the downloads. Yeah, Fedora 28. Yeah, all that should be in Fedora 28. Let's do this. It was the newest version, so if I did that by accident, I usually just said, oh well. Wow, I gotta look at all the links I've got. Okay. Well, of course, they all pertain to specific things I looked up. I was fixing to cut them and paste them all into that one folder, but that could really mess up some of my organization. I can't narrow it down any more than that. All right. Why upgrade from Fedora 28 to Fedora 29? Thought it said server in there, but it doesn't. Oh, it says upgrading, not why. Why did I see why? Sometimes not only do I switch letters and numbers and lines that I see the letters and numbers on, but sometimes I just add a word that came out of my own head. I thought that said why. Upgrade. Well, now I can't even find that right there. Why upgrade to Fedora? I really did think that's what it said. No, I'm not crazy. Just don't know what's going on. Okay. I can't believe I can't find the... Well, I guess the reason I can't find it is because... Oh, there we go. Now, verify your download image, but of course that'll be for, that all depends on which version. Alternative downloads. See, I think that's just going to be, okay, yeah, that's the verify page, and it also is going to What's it trying to download? 29. See, that was the link that after it downloads it, it sends you to that page. That's how they do it. I see what that is. That's probably the Get Fedora server now. It's 20. Yeah, this is 29. The specific page that has just the whole list of everything, that is in the, oh yeah, that's the torrent. There we go. Okay, 29. This is the, I guess this is the way I'm going to have to do it. Yeah, this is the way I'll have to do it. And I think 28 will be on down here at the bottom, hopefully. Yeah, 27. These, I guess, are all the ones that are still being supported. I'll just keep searching through till I get to the 28s. That's 29 still. Oop, there's 28s. Okay, now I don't want. Gotta go back, see what I missed. Okay, now we're getting to 28. AERC, that's for Raspberry Pi. ARM, that's generic ARM, I guess. And then i386, which I would need for my i386, you know, like my IBM. And then PPC, and then there's a server DD, but that's S390. I don't even know what an S390 is. Server DVD, x86, 64, I believe that's it. No, I want NetInstall, yeah. I don't see the NetInstall. That's 27. I can't read through these long lists. That's why I'm doing it that way, even though it probably seems ridiculous. But I'll try. Let's see. At least I found where the servers are. That's the DVD. Yeah, I'll search for net. It's not in there. NetInstall. All right, well, this is getting a bit aggravating. Maybe that way I'll see that next time. Okay, what's this other one? Yeah, that's just a regular alternative downloads, which takes you to 29 now. Can't believe they don't have NetInstall in there. I saw something moving really crazily, and it was me on my preview over there. I was going through that really fast. Okay, well, it seems that I always make everything hard by forgetting both basically or just thinking I'm going to make it easier and make it harder. But so many things mounted right now, it's hard to find. Okay, there we go. Downloads. Verify your download image, which instructions, the commands are always the same. But looks like I have a few things maybe out of place there. I'm not sure. 28. Now, let's server NetInstall. Okay. And that is the one, x86, yeah. Then there's ARM. I wrote that big ARM so I would know what it was. That's actually, but that's on the HTML file of the instructions and stuff. That's probably, yeah, verify your image. Okay, and then installer Anaconda, Fedora 28, Fedora commands to verify your download image. Okay, I need that. But where is the I don't see the checksum file, or do I? Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oh, that's spins, labs. Do I have it? It doesn't say checksum anymore. It has that. Well, I think it's because it's got a dot. Yeah, it's got a dot in a weird place. x86-64 checksum. Or it's just got a long weird extension, I guess. No, it's not an extra dot. It's just the way they do it now. Labs, spins. What do we got up here? ARM, DVD. Might be Fedora Server 28, Arch 64. ARC, yeah. Okay, that all goes together. Okay. Installer for Anaconda. Yeah, that's just a page from the website. And then there's this 386 version with its checksum file. I may not have it. Let's go by extension and make sure I'm just not. Labs, spins. Well, it could be. No, I don't think it is part of the labs or the spins. And this has worked perfectly already. That's what I can't believe I'm having trouble with it. You know, this is on my backup drive, and this is NTFS, and this is the drive I downloaded it too, so it'd be likely that I'd have trouble with this one, not one over here, unless, like I said, I deleted it and then copied it back from the backup drive or something. And let's see. Yeah, that's just for that. I can't get the checksum and couldn't find the place to down. Well, I found it where I could download it. You know what? If I'd have went ahead and downloaded it again, it might have taken me to the. No, that's the torrent download. It won't do that like the regular one. Here's what I'm thinking then. I needed that. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, I just closed the browser a while ago. Okay, now here's the I guess that's where I can get that's for labs. I've already got those, so all I need to do is run the commands from that page. I'll just try the ones I have. I don't. Wait. This. No, that won't help me. Well, I know where they've got the image, but I may have to. Oh, here they are. Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna try. Oh, well, here's one thing I can do. I can just run it. Yeah, you gotta have the right checksum for the right file. I'm almost certain about that. That's why I'm kind of going, I may be stuck here. For instance, if I open up a terminal here in this side, I don't believe it will even check the I've got the checksums for those two, but I don't have the server, so I don't think it'll even check. I opened up the terminal on this side, not the other side, but that file's in both sides. But like I said, there can be problems when copying files back and forth between NTFS and ext4. So it did all that. That was importing the Fedora's GPG keys. Now we're going to verify that some image is valid. That worked out. I just know that because it didn't stop and throw up. Well, it does say there are things in there. I guess I shouldn't just skim over without reading any of it. So for instance, what has it got up in here? Okay, it's got Fedora 20. It's just the keys for 27, 28, and 29. That might help me, huh? So, and then signature, good, Fedora project, and then it says warning that is not certified with a trusted signature. That just means they didn't pay the VeriSign or whatever for their signature. They made their own key, made their own signature. Let's see, good signature. Let's see, warning. That's Fedora 28. And this one is okay, same thing. Both on Fedora. I guess it checked both signatures that were in there. That's why it has two entries for it. I'm trying to see which one might be it. I guess you can't tell them apart by all that. Anyway. Now we'll go down to this command and it'll actually do the check of everything in the directory. Actually, I don't think I'd have to run it. It's doing them all, both of the, it's using both signatures. It sees them both and it's checking everything. So when it gets done, the ones that I haven't ever downloaded, of course, will have an error. Failed to open or read, but the ones that are there and that are good, they'll have an okay. And then if there were any bad ones in there, then bad, files that weren't matching the checksum, then it's taking a little longer than I thought it would. Gotta wait for it to finish before I'll use the search, inside of the terminal once it gets done to show for all the OKs and stuff. Yeah, I think it even goes inside the folders. Oh no, it may not. Does it? Yeah, I guess it does. Otherwise, it wouldn't have seen all these things. I guess it recurses through the directories. Because actually, I have 3 ISOs. 1, 2, 3. We'll kind of see because there's at least 1 or 2 more. Yeah, that one has an ISO and that one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ISOs total in there. Let's see how many it sees. But where did I start my command at? Right there. Okay, so I wasn't going to try to read through it because it seems so jumbled and hard for me to read through. Oh, there's where I started. Oh, it's finally finished. So anyway, yeah, there's so much so close together. Oh, you can't hit. You gotta hit find, I guess, like that. Oh yeah, it highlights the ones that are okay. So live security is okay. Comp is okay. That's the only 2. What's the other one that's in there? NetInstall. Yeah, see, I didn't have that's the one I don't have the signature for. So what I was afraid of is exactly right. And it didn't go into those other directories. I'd have to run them. Well, I stuck their checksums in their directories with them. So, but those aren't none of that's what I'm actually interested in. I'm interested in the one that I'm having trouble with, the NetInstall. So I'm going to say that there might be something wrong with that one, since I'm just going to download it again. Well, let's don't delete it yet. Just rename it so I'll know the difference. Original, but maybe not the best. Original ISO. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the website. There we go. Oh wait, I forgot. I didn't find the Fedora 28 NetInstall. That is what the image has. Maybe it doesn't. NetInst. But I was just looking for net and didn't find it, so it's not in there. Well, I certainly didn't expect that. NetInst. NetInst. And that is 28. Okay. Oddly enough, oh, that's DVD. This one says, let's see. Oh, that's a Fedora server. What? That's 28 and that's 28. Oh, okay. I need to go out of that folder and go to 29 to see those. Now, got make confiz, NetInstall AARC, that's for Raspberry Pi. Finally figured that out. Server NetInst x86 6429. I have it and it works, but it didn't install. This one did work until I fixed it, until I erased it and put 28 on there. And that's DVD ARC. Okay. I don't, like I said, the one thing I know can cause a problem is when usually if you back, when you've copied from the, this is Linux side and this is a NTFS drive side. This ext4, when you copy from ext4 to NTFS, you usually don't have any kind of problems because I've used them straight off of this before. But when you copy from this back to this, sometimes you get some strange things going on that can cause problems. So, okay, so this doesn't have NetInstall. The NET is not on there. And the servers that we have are x86 64, but that's the DVD. Those are all DVDs. Server. How at all? I don't want 27. That's too old. It'd be running out of support before you know it. That's why I went ahead and I thought, well, I'll do 29, so I won't have to worry about upgrading it again. I guess I could try 29 again one more time. I was giving up on it to expedite things, and instead I'm back in another circle of trouble. Okay, so that's beta. We wouldn't want that. I already have. Well, actually, what do I have? Do I have the beta? It shouldn't make any difference though, since I'm using NetInstall, even if I did have the beta. But let's see what I got. I don't think it's beta. It doesn't say beta on it. See right there. Server NetInstall. x86, 64, 2912. Oh yeah, there's no net installs on here, so I can't compare any of that because they're not there. Okay, so well, I'm going to quit fooling around with that. And as long as I've been fooling around with just trying to get this 28 to write correctly, let's put that over there. I could have already tried to install it again. Well, it does take a while when you select the software and all that first. If all you do is just click install, then it's like 20 minutes and it's installed, But when you go through all that trouble, and especially if you have trouble like I did yesterday, but it probably will work, hopefully. Well, I mean, I'm sure it does work, but whatever options I chose that didn't work is what I figure the problem is. So I'm going to go ahead and do I've already got the USB stick in there, but let's unmount everything. Oh yeah, let's see. I'm going to reformat it again with gparted and then use Fedora Media Writer. Let's see, I don't actually have to take it out and reset it. I haven't done any writing to it. So I'll leave it like that, and that may, if that's mounted in gparted, I can unmount it in there. But I am going to unmount my backup drive, and am I still in it? Well, I'll close. Crusader likes to hang on to stuff that it's had mounted. So I'm going to unmount that and unplug it so that Media Writer cannot see that and try to format it. And that would be really bad. Yeah, when you start going fast, when you're doing this sort of thing, you better slow down and pay attention. And I tend to want to go fast with this stuff. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do 29. I've just been I've been running into so many problems with things lately. I'm just getting tired. I just want something that works. But really, it kind of makes more sense to put 29 on it. Now let's see. Format to. Yeah, there's nothing there to delete. That's just. It's really weird because there is something there. This is what happened the last time. I said format to, and then let's say information. I think it might be because it's that. Is that the one that's that weird? I thought it was one of those other ones that I just now unmounted that has that weird file system type that I don't even know what it is. Something new. Well, this might be it. Now I'm wanting to know. So let's go. Everything going good with the system? Yeah, seems all right. Let's go back in there and see if that one is the one that's. This one here. Oh, that's the one that just says ISO. Boy, they're really doing something different in there. Okay, so that one's VFAT HFS. That's the one, HFS Plus. I think I read about it recently, and I've already forgotten what it said. I don't know why this one. I've never seen that before. ISO 9660 is from what I remember, is the standard format of ISO files. Which is what these are, ISOs. So I don't know. I don't know how they're doing all that. See, now I already closed gparted, I guess. Yeah. And then closed it so I couldn't have any conflicts. before let's see, go ahead and get over there on it so that I can't. Before I do anything to it, let's look at what other disk apps do we have? We have, I guess I installed that one, the normal one, which that I'm used to, the older Fedora one. Then there's a one called Blivit. That's the one there. I think it's on here by default. So, yeah, okay, now it's showing how it's formatted. And I don't know if that makes the text any bigger or not. But so there's the one that's the ISO, and then there's the one that's FAT32. There's the one that's HFS plus, and then the rest is free space. That's what it keeps talking about, free space. See, that's all the space that's, and you can't use it though with it like the way it's done. If you try to, like, I tried formatting that and using it for data, and it doesn't work. I think it'll let you do it, but then it breaks Fedora from booting or something. I don't remember. It didn't work. I do remember that. It didn't work the way I wanted it to. So I thought, well, I can just leave Fedora on there and still have lots of space, you know. Especially with this one here, the NetInstall. So let's see if Blivit is on there like I thought. Dang it. There it is right there. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Now we want to get on the right one. It's cruiser pattern. So it's kind of only sees got the same thing as gparted. It just sees that part of it. Except for, is it saying that that's an LVM like I thought? Raw format. Raw ISO. So that's a raw format. Okay. I haven't used this. Well, I tried it out in one of, I think it was, there was 27 or 28 installer, and it didn't work. But it was built into the installer, and it wasn't a nice GUI like this. So anyway, I'm going to use gparted again, like I did a while ago, and it did do. Yeah, let's use it. That one there, I don't know. I would be scared I'd accidentally mess up my hard drives because I wouldn't know. You know, I don't know my way around it, and I might screw up. But you can't delete that. But you can try and say. You can't say new from there either. You can just say format to. Oh, I see. Let's see. Create partition table. You know, there may not be a partition table on there. You know what? I guess there's not, because it says, because of the way they're doing that, ISO 9660. Well, I know I had to do that last time. So let's create a partition table, because I got an error and had to create one. So SDC, we are not on the hard drive. All right. Create a partition table. Reboot now. Scares you. I saw that one other time before. It scares the crap out of me. I thought, did I reformat my hard drive? You know. I'm going to hit cancel. Error. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take it out and put it back in. That would be this one here. Sometimes it's better to do that one first. Sometimes it's the other one. Depends on what's on it. Well, I accidentally plugged into, there's two ports on the front, USBs, and I usually put my backup drive in one and the furthest one away from me, and then anything else in the other one, and I got lost under there, and I put it in the wrong, but it doesn't matter as long as that backup drive's not plugged in, so I can't mess anything up. All right, now. Uh-oh, it's not seeing it. I'll take it back out. See if it now it should see it. Don't have any other partitions. I guess that's one thing, that little stubborn Windows partition, it saves you from completely breaking them to where they can't be mounted at all, because there's always that other partition there. Thought I heard the trash truck earlier today, but I looked out and they hadn't got it, and now I hear it again. Well, this is a recycling day too, so maybe there's two separate trucks, so maybe that's one. All right, now I'm going to say create a partition table again to make sure it's got one. Okay, now that seemed to work just fine. Now, new. Now, the last time I did not drag this over, it may not let me. Yeah, it won't let you. It will make you leave that. Okay, so I didn't do anything wrong then. FAT32, primary partition. Yeah, it's going to make you leave that extra. FAT32, dev SDB. All right. Now then, do it. Are you sure you want to do it? Yes, I do. Did it. Okay, now I went through all that last time, kind of went over it. It's plenty to see there if you need to see it. Okay, now let's go ahead and eject it. And there we go. Now it'll just open right up in the file manager because it doesn't have those squirrely Fedora stuff on there, Fedora partitions and stuff. Okay, now that was just FAT32 with no files on it. Now let's do I don't see, when I do it with media, I don't even see Fedora Media Writer. If it was there, I didn't see it. All right. Now, we're going to go to custom image. Go to downloads. This time we're going to go to 29. NetInstall x86-64. That on the top, that's the newest one. That's the one I want. I don't want the other one that's for Raspberry Pi, although I've been wanting to try that forever. SanDisk Cruiser pattern. I'm going to do it. Now, we're writing one again. What's this, the third time today? Yep, I believe so. Twice with 28 and Well, I'm gonna. Oh, that's cooking there. That followed me. I don't like when apps do that. I want them to stay in their boxes where I put them. Okay. There's more and more things doing that lately. And okay, that's on the. Is that downloads or? I'm not sure. It doesn't show the whole address anymore like it used to. So I want to delete the one I want to keep. I'm going to delete the one that I had trouble with, in case there's something wrong with it. Since I can't find the checksums for it to check it, what I'm actually using is that one right there. Okay. So, if we can get past the check on this one, if we can't, then I'm going to start thinking there's actually something wrong with this USB stick. I did learn during all my work with trials and tribulations with easy to boot on my SD card. I did learn that, especially the SD card. All flash memory is not exactly the same, They are both flash memory, but of course there was the earlier versions like my USB sticks, but there's different types. Anyway, I've read about it, but I couldn't explain any of it. I can't remember much of what I read right now. Anyway, of course there's quality and not quality, and all that too. They get fragmented, and they're. Sometimes they get to the point you can't unfragment them anymore after so many writes. So, yeah, I don't want to delete the file. And there's nothing that says it didn't work. Close that. Now, I'm just going to put it in the machine. We went through those folders over and over. I'm going to put it in the machine and try it. So let me get on the camera again. And check and make sure it's not frozen. It's been happening lately. That's what I'm waving around for. Or that's why I was waving my hand. Okay, let me put it in the machine. If I can find that. I was just sitting there thinking, surely, I wonder if one of those ports reads good and the other one doesn't. It's actually the port on the machine. There's two, front, like front and next to front. I was going to say back, and it didn't seem right. Let's see, yeah, I got to switch to so we'll be seeing that machine. Well, not so we'll be seeing it, but so I can control it with my mouse and keyboard. On the KVM switch. Switch this KVM switch. Okay, now. Let's see, I'm going to let it boot up like normal. Oh, yeah, I'll have to, if I got it in time, I have to go into BIOS. It won't just automatically see it. Well, it did. Can you believe that? It actually did, but but the video's all messed up. Well, let's try running the check like that. I don't know what'll happen, but it should be enough. Yeah, I think it'll fix it. Try running the check, and I hit delete. I think that's what probably screwed up the positioning of the video. It actually saw it, but automatically that time. How about you? I just been sticking in whichever port I could. I can't see it. I'm just feeling around in there, but I can usually tell which one if I pay attention. I know I'm in the front one this time, but I don't know that really makes any difference. Okay, it's checking it. and goes pretty fast. It's already up to 50%, past 50%. At least it didn't stop at the beginning like it did the last time. Maybe this is a good sign. Yep, it's rebooting now. It will boot into the installer now. And I got to pay attention and catch it before it counts down and does boots. Used to it was always 10 seconds, gave you a little more time to think, but I think it might be 5 or something now before it goes ahead and boots. Either that or I'm slower than I used to be, which is very possible. Now, I hope it didn't go straight into the installer. If it did, I'll have to exit the installer and reboot. But I thought you would see grub menu first, but that looks like the starting up of the installer. See, I have to catch it in the grub menu to edit the grub menu to tell it to start BNC. So maybe the last time I thought I missed it and I didn't. I was just not paying, it never went to the grub menu. Because I don't think it's going to the grub menu. I think it's actually starting up. Let's hang on and see. Yeah, looks like it's fixing to go to the little installer GUI. When you see the little arrow on the screen, then you know it's fixing to start up in a graphic user interface. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to hit quit. And I think it'll just reboot. Yes, I want to quit. It takes a little while to respond in this screen. And I was thinking about me picking so much software. It's also not good to do that on this machine. It's only a single core with 2 gig of RAM. It's not. And I was picking all kinds of stuff, that, server things that could be running, that would be running in the background. They even, and it'd be silly not to put them on there if I may never get around to setting them up and even having them work anyway. Did I get a good click on that? I think it's just taking its time. I didn't really want to hit Control-Alt-Delete because when you're running, if it was in the middle of something, writing, reading, it shouldn't be really, well, it could be writing temp files to the SD card, USB stick. They will break a lot easier than the hard drive file system will. Same stuff, same information. But come on now. I didn't want to hard shut it down or Control-Alt-Delete it because of that. But now it's really it's like it's frozen. Might have tried to do it too quick. That's why I kind of waited a little bit before I clicked the first quit, but I might have, well, this one came up. This second menu came up. So it seems like it would be okay. But yeah, if you click really quick, especially I guess on these older machines that are slower to respond, you can hang them up and lock them up. Especially in the Anaconda, it's kind of, I don't know why it's so resource hungry, but it's always been that way. Seems to be more resource hungry than a normal desktop. It's always kind of sluggish, and I end up having to make it reboot. I don't think it's going to do it. Control-Alt-Delete. I think it's froze up. It's not responding to Control-Alt-Delete. Alright, hard shutdown. Alright. I used to just do that indiscriminately, and then I had some real big headaches, and I've already had enough today, so with my SD cards. Luckily, I never or my USB sticks. I think it's probably the SD card I had more trouble with. But anyway, I haven't any of them, ruined them or anything, but I had to reformat them again. Okay, now I'm talking, but I caught it. Okay, so I went up to the top. Now I'm going to hit Tab. That's the the Install Fedora 29 menu. That's where I'm at. Gonna hit tab. Gonna hit. Now I'm gonna put space and let me look. inst.vnc. Now that will start the VNC server, so I can control it remotely, and I'll have a nice desktop video. inst.vnc. Now I tried this on the GUI version of Fedora 28 and it didn't work, but it does work on Fedora 28 and NetInstall and Fedora 29 NetInstall. So I guess it's not there in the GUI version. Hit enter. I just wanted to finish what I was saying before I did that, so I wouldn't get confused. Okay. Yeah, I will only pick the software that I really think I need this time, so I won't have so many places for error. When it gets done booting, it will give us the IP address and the port that we can log into. But it won't go into the installer until I log in over on the other machine. That's how it does it. Pretty darn cool. For years I've been thinking this ought to be something you could do. And I figured, well, I saw a few videos, people showing how to, they were just showing how to install. And I could tell, I don't know, maybe somebody mentioned it, but I could tell they weren't doing it on a virtual machine. They were doing it on the real hardware, but they were making a video, and I was like, how are they doing that unless they're doing it that way, so. And they didn't say a word about it. That's not what their video was about, that's just, they knew how to do that, and they were doing it. Okay, getting close. Looks like it has an IPv6 address, I think. Oh, what is that? Oh, Anaconda 29.24.7.1.fc29 for Fedora 29 started. That's what it was. Okay, now 192.168.0.153 port 1. Go there. All right. Now we can get back on our desktop. And I never did close Fedora Media Writer after all that, did I? And it wasn't happy anymore. It doesn't stay running very long. It's kind of I think it's a buggy app. Let's see what else I got. Okay. Make sure I don't have anything else still running or that didn't close properly or something. Okay, now I'm going to use my Vino, my favorite. This is Vino Viewer. They say it's Tiger VNC that the server that it's running on. Now I've used it yesterday, so the port and the IP address and the port's already in there, and you don't have to. There you go. No login or anything. Now I'm going to make it fit the screen, and then I guess I'll do F11 so it'll be full screen. Okay, we're ready to go, and now see we're running this remotely, which can be very useful, with servers, because your server might be headless for sure, not actually not plugged into a mouse or keyboard or monitor, or just no monitor or whatever. And you'd have to. See, how would you do that if you didn't have any of that? You got to still type that command at the beginning there. You'd have to have a mouse and keyboard. You could do it in a remote shell, I guess. I don't know how to. Have to really probably read up on it. I think it tells you how to do it. Yeah, it does on that page. From my video yesterday, I went over that page of telling you how to. It shows you how to do it. So English is what I want. Continue. I may be happy if it works, then I'll be glad I had Fedora 29. But see how slow it is though, and that's not. It would be. There may be a little bit of lag on the remote desktop, but it's just slow right on the machine. I don't care what machine, even on the newer machines, it's slow. So it's working on different things right now, like this installation source, which is going to be the internet, uh, and the destination. And of course, and down at the bottom, that yellow with the white text does not show up to me, but naturally, it's hard to read the white on yellow. For one thing, it's hard to look at it. But anyway, you need to pay attention to this, and it's at the bottom. I expect information to be close to this part, like it should come up. It should be right there, or come up right there, or whatever. But this is always there. I've noticed in every screen, almost every screen anyway. And if you'll learn to pay attention to it, it'll tell you a lot of things. So please complete the things marked with the caution sign. So this one should do this automatically. It has been. Software, I'll do that last. We'll go ahead and do the partitioning, the disk, everything on that. Still kind of moving slow. Yesterday was working pretty good. Later on, I remember later on in the work. Okay, now so there's already an attempt. See, it's only 1.74 megabytes free. It does. I don't know why it would show it to be that full, but anyway, there's already an attempt to install on there. So I want to make additional space available. And I did think about one thing. So there's that Blivet GUI that I used. I did think about one thing, and that is, did this part fail? But I don't think so, because it's been working for the last 2, 3, 4 versions that I've used. Since Fedora 23 anyway, it's been working good. It used to didn't work good, and I always did all my partitioning ahead of time in gparted. And that's what you could do if you have run into those kind of problems. But that error I got at the end, it didn't look like anything like that. It was something that I didn't really know what it was, something I'd never seen before. So I'm going to make additional space, and that's all I want to do. I want to stick with the automatic because it's pretty tricky to get it right. It's not really super complicated, it's just tricky to get it right. Okay, yeah, I guess all I have to do is hit done in this stage, this page. Done is not at the bottom right or the middle, it's up at the top left. And so now I don't want any of this stuff from the old install. You'll see that's from the Fedora 29 that I put on there that that didn't finish. So yeah, that's why it's so full, I guess. Yeah, it would be. Okay, so I want to delete all. It says delete on everything. Reclaim space down at the bottom right, and then it takes you back to the front. You don't hit the done on this one. So you see, they get you trying to hit that blue done at the top, but if you just hit that, I don't think it'll do anything. I'm pretty sure, because I remember going around and around with that. Okay, now I'm not ready to begin it. I'm not ready to begin installation because I want to select software. Everything else is fine up here. I did notice that my time zone is, I always use Chicago. There's like 2 I can use, and Chicago's the one I usually use. That's in Central Time. I'm in America Central Time. And I think Denver is not my time zone. But I tried to change that, and there was 2 things I had done. It was on the Acer laptop, not on this machine. And I had set up the wireless networking, and I think I remember it somewhere in the instructions saying don't set that up, it'll jack things up, like lose your connection. Would make sense, it could cause it to happen. But I had done that, nothing happened right away, and then I was in here changing the time zone, and all of a sudden I lost connection to the machine and couldn't get it back. So I had to I just shut it down. I was going to go to bed. But so pay attention to that. Now, if you're on a laptop or anything with a wireless adapter on it, well, don't install with a wireless adapter. Use wired unless that's all you got. especially NetInstall, because boy, you talk about giving yourself a chance to have headaches. Well, there's certain things, parts of the installation, that it would turn that off, you know, and it would break your installation. So, but I do want to set my host name, so I'm going to do that. Always do that, one of the first things before I forget. This is my server, so I'm going to call it bishopco.localdomain, because my website's bishopco.com and so on. That's the main website, and then everything else is built under that. bishopco.localdomain, apply, and then done. IP address, of course, it's still the same. Actually, this machine always gets that IP address, so I set that in my router. I set my partitioning. Okay, everything else. Yeah, closest mirror finally set itself. I'm not going to bother with that. Well, wait, should I look in there? There's one thing I want to know that I didn't. Okay, it said that maybe you could change mirrors. My first error where it couldn't find some of the software, and I clicked in there, and I was like, well, we want you to tell it, you know, all you get is this. So, and I thought, well, I don't know where any of them are. So, but I didn't bother to do anything like that. URL is empty. Okay, yeah. So, that's what I thought. I just thought, I want to make sure it doesn't populate something when you do that. But it doesn't. Down at the bottom, URL is empty. Okay, so closest mirror. Oh, don't install the latest available software. Well, I'm going to uncheck that because, for all I know, that'll take longer. Oh. Well, yeah, because if it can't find it in the normal channel, then it'll go looking for like beta and all that stuff, and maybe it would find it. That's what I'm thinking. I might have accidentally clicked that doing this. I don't know. I guess when I look back in the video, I'll try to remember to look and see if that was already pre-checked. Maybe it was. I remember that being on my radar, but it didn't catch on to why it was on my radar yesterday. So I'm going to do it that way. It's going to take longer, but of course it'll be pre-updated. I won't have to. That first update won't be 700-800 megabytes, but also it might actually. It'll give you more options to find the software. If there's something missing, it'll have another place to look, like the newest updates. Okay, but there's only one closest mirror. There's one choice. I mean, unless you know where they're hiding some servers. Now, domain gives you list upon list, and it's good, but it's also can be daunting to try to find. You'll try one, and it takes like 1 minute to 5 minutes to search over it, and then it says, "Oh, this one can't be contacted," and you'll go on and on until you. If you install domain a lot, then you might you'll kind of get to know which ones work the best for in your area. But if you just do it once every couple of years, then you'll start over. You know, okay, so I'm gonna hit done, and it won't work yet until it's finished setting it back up again. It searches through and checks them and stuff. I guess it's looking for the closest mirror is what it's doing. And actually, you can't go on to the software selection until that's done. I won't click on it because it's kind of slow to respond to show you that, but guess I could. Well, no, it might just hang things up more. But I'm going to wait till that's done because I've done it before without thinking or just not knowing. I've done it without knowing, and then after I knew, I forgot. I'm just not paying attention. You see, that took a while. While I was doing other things, that was working. So I'm not quite sure how long it takes. See, me being, I needed to see that, and maybe that helped by changing that. I think that was defaulted with that check in that box saying only just take, don't look for updates. And actually looking for updates might actually help it find, like I said, I had one set of software that top that was in the security lab group of software was missing two. It was not really dependencies. It said it was a conflict, and it was a couple of lib somethings or whatever. And So I just once I figured out, but I didn't. It didn't tell you. It just told you what was missing. It didn't say what group that software, what it was missing, and then I had to figure out what group it belonged to, and I got kind of lucky because, well, I had remembered NTOP, and so I went and also I went and looked it up, and I thought, okay, that what group would it possibly be in, and I did 2 or 3 before I hit the right one. That's taken a long time to get that downloading group metadata set up. Maybe because I selected that update thing. Now I'm wondering if that's even going to work. Yeah, if I click that, I'll probably just hang it up some more. Oh, downloading group metadata, downloading group metadata. It says that in both of them now. Well, it doesn't say there's an error. Let's just be a little more patient. But let's see. Get out. Let's just. I'll show you those errors I was talking about in my screenshots. I think I can do that. I do not know what all those screenshots are, though. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Now I'm just going to open it up with. Oh, now it wants. The ones that, see, now he's going to open it with image viewer. Let's see if it does that with these. Oh, it's doing it now. It keeps going back and forth. I have image viewer set to be my default in my preferences, but it keeps going back to GwenView, which I actually like better, but it has got to where it's using up too many resources. So let's go ahead and use that one. I was showing my cough drops in the end of my video and I decided to make. Okay, now that's the last error that we had. Following error occurred while installing. The fatal error and installation will be aborted. DNF error in post-in scriptlet in RPM package text fonts Hebrew. Yeah, I think that is Hebrew as in the Hebrew language in the Bible. Now I don't know what I installed that would even have that. Maybe it's just, well, you know what? See, that's what I think of. But there's actually people in the world that use Hebrew, that speak Hebrew, don't they? And write it too. I thought that was one of those languages that were lost. That's what I know about all that stuff. Evidently, it's not lost. Well, I mean, not lost completely, because I'm only familiar with it in the Bible and preachers reading and writing it, and that's all I know about it. I don't know. I guess there are people in the world that actually, use it. Okay, so that was it. That's what hung it up. That's why I say it's a bug. Okay. And now some of these screenshots, I don't know what they're going to be. They're not going to have anything to do with it. Here's the first one I kept trying to explain. NTOP is the app, and libgdm, dbm, and libnet, snmp were both needed, and they could not be found, and that's why I had to. That's where I was in my the NetProMax's video card, and so I had to figure out what group that belonged to. That's all it told you was that right there. So, I can hit enter twice and it closed the program. That's kind of cool. Let's see. It is still working on that. Doggone it! I think I pulled a. Thought I was doing something good there. Now I'm gonna figure that. See if I can get back in there. That mouse goes nuts. I guess because of something to do with the remote desktop or something. When you just let it put it over these links, it sits there and shakes. But now it won't go back in there. Boy, if I'm hung up already and locked up, I'll be mad. Don't give it more to do. I was like, okay, look, I just remembered something. Yesterday when I was in there in the network, it said it had 1,000 megabits. telling me that that's a gigabit Ethernet adapter on the onboard. That's onboard on that thing, not not an Ethernet card. And I thought it was too old to have gigabit, but I wanted to look at it again. But let's just wait. It did not take that long a while ago. I'm thinking that it's either got so much to look through, it's taken too long, or it's hung up and not working. That could be why. They probably already know that, and that's why they have that defaulted to don't do that. It won't do anything. I think it's hung up. That worked. 1,000 megabits. Huh. Okay, so it's not hung up. At least it told me that. But this is not letting you do anything. Not set up. Installation. Setting up. Yeah, this says it's not set up, and this says setting up. Won't let me back in there to change anything, though. Maybe when it's in the middle of doing that, that's just how it works. I don't actually know. Well, I will say I like the features of the NetInstall, but there seems to be some idiosyncrasies that are very aggravating. Change, please verify. Source change, please verify. Okay. I guess it finally got done. I verified in there, I guess. Huh. Let's go back, because I don't understand. Maybe I have to go back to source. Hit done. It's not going to work real fast, but it's working again. Oh. Closest mirror. Oh, see, it's like it's done now because I did that. I don't want to do that again. Okay, it seems to be okay now. So, okay. So here's what I want to do: is pick all my software. Container management. I had that, and I wanted to try learning to work with containers. That's why I put it on there. It could be more secure. I might be able to run some of my dynamic websites in a container. Is what I was thinking. I think that's what they do on servers. Directory server, no. DNS server, no. Been there, done that. Name server, yeah, I just said that. Dog tag, no. Let's quit rolling it and just go down until we get to the bottom. When I roll it, it moves too far, too fast. Okay, I want FTP. Load balancer. I'm going to try to get that because I think that could really help me. This is an old machine. It could really help taking stress off of it. If I can learn how to use the thing. I was going to do MariaDB, MySQL database. But actually, if I really want to start doing all that, I can use the group installs. I know there's group installs commands for that kind of stuff. Sometimes, though, not only does it install things, sometimes it actually sets things up. That's the thing about that. I really just need to get my server back up and running. I can't just keep on running this Fedora 14 system in here in my room. It's too loud and makes heat. It was cold last night, so I didn't get hot. But it didn't really bother me when I was asleep, but every time I woke up, I heard it quite well. It's loud enough. I listened to, speaking of Bible and stuff, I listen to Bible, not tapes. I started with tapes. I started back in 1973 with cassette tapes. My grandmother gave them to me. Best thing she ever did for me. Living Bible on cassette, the whole thing. And then I went to CDs over the years. And so I listen to CDs when I'm going to sleep and when I first wake up. And I really am a listener, so I learn and remember good well from listening. And so anyway, it's competing with me hearing that. That's how it's loud enough. It's not super loud, and it doesn't have a horrible sound like some of these others. This Net Pro Max is loud. It's too loud to be in here. I can't hear the other, the one I'm talking about, the Fedora 14, the red black Bible store. I can't hear it at all. I can hear anything with the Net Pro Max with the Net Pro Max running. So it's fine in the garage, but not in here. Okay. Don't want a mail server. I don't think I'll do MariaDB. I'll just do what I really need, really want. Hardware support. Oh, that's for special server hardware. Oh, click down there and it selects it. You don't have to click on the box. I forgot. That's why I was using the mouse wheel. Windows file server, not on this one. No, I don't need that on the web server. Okay. It's easier to break into than the other types of servers. So, headless, no, not virtualization. Basic web server. Those are the two main things. FTP, which I won't open the FTP port to the internet. So, that won't be a security risk that way. On the router. Well, on the machine either. I'll do it. I'll close it on the machine too. No, I have to open it on the machine so I can get to it on the local network. But on the router, I'll close it. Okay, and administrative tools. I'm going to put XFCE desktop if I can. If not now, I'll do it later with the group install command. Go ahead and do the PDF. So, yeah, things, like before I didn't do any graphic apps because, or at least I tried to stay away from them. Some of them are grouped together, but I didn't ever put a graphic user interface on it. Books and guides, those can be good if you are offline and you're trying to figure something out. Sometimes. I don't use them very much. I just use Google from almost everything. See, automake. I don't think I'll be needing automake or anything like that. I will want RPM make, RPM one, but not C. Okay. I put that kind of stuff on my regular machine so that I'm trying to learn. Well, sometimes if you just want to install something, you need that. But usually I'm just trying to learn stuff. Cloud management. Compiz, don't really care about. I do. Oh, that's from. That's fine with Mate, but on XFCE, I don't think I need that. That's what I'm going to put on there. Development tool, Genie tag. Yeah, I don't really need that. Design suite, development tools such as Git and CVS. That might Git. I might have to install something from Git. I might need that. Eclipse editors. Now that's command line stuff, Emacs and Vi. Well, actually, I think they both have a graphic user one too now. But educational, electronic lab. It's funny that all that can be put on a server, but yet they don't give you. Actually, maybe they do. I think I figured out. I'll show it in a minute. I think I finally figured out how you can install the GUI all at the same time. Okay, and engineering, scientific. Because I thought, well, why do they give you all this but not give you the option to install a GUI? But because I never could get it to work since from a long years ago I could. Well, but that was just a regular NetInstall before there was a server. But you could still install. What you could do with it was turn one into a server by just selecting the right software or the right groups. That was before there was a specific Fedora server edition. Electronic, engineering, games, headless management. Yep, want that. That gives me cockpit and all that. Since it's going to planning on having it being out in the garage, I'm going to try to not have to go out there and mess with it too much. Usually I don't have to when everything's working good. LibreOffice, yeah, I would want that. Mate, I'm not going to do Mate. Okay. Another Office productivity viewers and more. They have two of them that have PDF, it says, but sometimes you need more than one PDF viewer because one may not open one, like the Acrobat PDF files. Some of them will open in one viewer and not in another unless. But recently I found some that not only will open them and read them, but edit them. Like the writable ones I'm talking about, the ones you can have fill-in forms, edit them and save them without having to have Adobe's brand, Classroom, Python, Science. I don't need the Classroom to learn Python in there. Okay. I'm not going to be on the machine working. It's just a server. Robotics. here we go. RPM Development Tools has things such as RPM Build. Now you will need that to install straight from an RPM. You'll need, I don't know, well, yeah, you would need that for sure, and maybe some more things that may not even be in that group. Security Lab is the one that would not work. That missing, those missing, I'll just say missing dependencies because it's easy to say. Sound and video, yeah, because sometimes you might need to watch a video of how to fix something. I've been in that situation before, where especially if I'm out in the garage and I need to try to watch something to figure something out. System tools, yeah, that's a client for SMB, not the server. And text-based internet can be useful on the server, especially window managers that aren't part of a larger desktop environment. I'm going to get those in case they're helpful. Okay, let's go back to the top and see if I skipped anything. I usually do. Ansible, let's see, container management, directory server, yeah, no. Excuse me. Guest agents, hypervisor. I finally know what a hypervisor is. It's all about running virtual machines. It's how you, when running under a hypervisor, or guest agents when running under a hypervisor. That's like VirtualBox guest additions. That's what it is. I don't see anything about a hypervisor. There must be one in there, and I just didn't catch on to it. But I didn't see one. There is one for. I know Red Hat has one, so I imagine they have one for Fedora server. But it's like VirtualBox, or they call the one that came with Fedora 28, or that was in the repos, was called Box, just BOX Box, and it was running. I guess that's the hypervisor. I guess there may be more than one. They used to have one called KVM, but I guess they don't have it anymore. I always remembered it because it was the same, my switch is a KVM switch, and they called that software KVM, but it wasn't for that purpose. It was for virtual machines. High availability, I put that on once or twice, and I couldn't figure out how to use it. We set it up and even get it going. But I don't have a high availability server anyway, so I just wanted to learn about it. I never did figure it out. Load balancer, hopefully I can figure that out. I think I've had that on my server before too. Mail server, no. I'm not going to do the MariaDB because I know that's really uses a lot of memory and probably a lot of processor too. So I don't need that on this machine. If I do that, I need at least, I got to thinking I really need at least a dual core, because I've got it on my Fedora 14 system. It's a dual core and it worked it hard. So I think I had regular MySQL or SQL or whatever on it. But that is not anything to do with what I want. Yeah, I don't want that. Definitely don't want GHCP server on there. That would fight with my router. That's handing out IP addresses to the network. Print support. I don't need it to be a print server. Hardware support for special hardware. Windows file. I don't want SMB Samba on there on this one. Okay. You can still connect to, let's say, this machine with a Windows machine by just using SFTP. You don't need Windows networking. That's just another SQL. Headless virtualization. Well, I'm not going to be running any virtual machines on this. It'll just do well to run Fedora 28 server for itself. Basic web server, yes. 3D printing, administration tools. Audio production. No, I don't need to produce, but authoring and publishing, but I did do the audio video playing one, I think. Books and guides, C development. I almost wonder if I might need AutoMake at some point, but I guess if I tried to do something that needed it, it would tell me, well, you need to install AutoMake. I don't need all the other stuff in that group. These are groups, you see, so they're going to be, telling Might not be a lot, but it might be quite a bit of software. Cloud infrastructure. I messed with cloud stuff, and I didn't care for it. Not really much use to me. Software to manage servers and system images that run in the cloud. That's virtualization. I don't know why they call one a cloud and one, I was just talking about up there. I'm not going to roll back up there because I'll lose my place. But why do they call one cloud? And a cloud is just a marketing scheme. It's not a thing, a real thing. It's just it's just servers. This is file servers, cloud. Well, usually cloud infrastructure usually has to do with, well, that's the back end to cloud management. That you'd run your virtualization or your file servers or whatever. Cloud is it's just another name for servers. So it's silly. I don't even like the terminology. So anyway, hypervisor. So this part here would be to manage, maybe software to, I guess maybe that'd be software to manage. Now, this hypervisor does the management. I'm by no means an expert on those things, but I've been learning a lot about real servers from Morton, and I was going to say where he is. Anyway, he does server videos on YouTube. He's a server admin guy, and or sysadmin or whatever you want to call it, IT guy, and he makes really good videos and explaining how everything works. He has a whole server, three or four racks of servers set up in his house. Besides having, that's what his job is, but he also has, and he just plays with. That's all he does is play with them all the time and make videos. He makes movies too. Him and his friends make real movies, good ones, but and they're on YouTube too. But one's called Definitely Dead that I saw. It's a Western, and it's really funny because I think it's in Denmark, but they made a good Western. And I think a Western as being, you got to be American to know anything about making a Western, that you don't. And of course, they had those same days, all those Europeans, they were alive back then too, I mean, of course, well, I don't guess there's any left now, but anyway, they were there too. Okay, so anyway, get myself all lost here. General development, design suite. Yeah, I don't need any of that. Graphics and animation and all that. I mean, I'd want an image viewer, but I'll probably end up with at least one. If I don't have one, I'll install one or something. Editors, educational, electronics lab, scientific. It takes me forever because I really have to keep going over things. The Mate Applications is a good one to have if you have Mate Desktop. It's got some good stuff. I do not know what Milky Mist is. It's a catchy name. I need to look it up and see what it's even for. Oh, from Milky Mist Hardware Engineers. Well, it's not something I need. I don't know what it is. I guess I don't need it. I'm not a hardware engineer, and I don't know what Milky Mist is. So don't click on it. I used to click on stuff and just install it just to see what it was instead of going and reading about it. Sometimes I found some cool stuff, and a lot of times I found things that you had to set up, and I had no clue how to do it. And then it would just stay on my system. The thing is, one thing about Linux, if you install something, and then you say, okay, well, I don't want that, I'll uninstall it. Well, it may have a list of 3 to 10 things that it'll bring up and say, or it used to bring it up and say, this other stuff may be associated with all this other stuff, these dependencies may be associated with other programs on your system, but probably not. So we think it's safe to uninstall it, but we're not sure. So what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. So I don't know what it's associated with or not. So And sometimes I would go ahead and do it, and I would break things. And so then I got to where I just didn't do it. Not just if I've got it, I'm stuck with it. And then sometimes I'll try again, and I'll say, okay, I think I know what I can do, and I'll do it. I do uninstall stuff sometimes, but most of the time I don't anymore. I'll just try to be a little more careful about not just indiscriminately installing stuff. Okay, robotics, PM development, security lab, like I'm trying to do right now, but I keep talking. I don't know why I'm wanting to tell stories. I don't want the security lab, even though it has a lot of good software. That's the one that hung up on me. That's one I would want, probably. Well, it's got hundreds of programs, though. It fills up your program, your application menu with stuff that's all command line stuff, and there's only like 5 or 10 things that I can use out of all of it. So really, if I could remember them all, I'd be better off just installing them, separately. Sound and video. It's good to have that because you may be burning an ISO, not a music, but an ISO for, and I've done that on my server before. Whenever, like not too long ago, when IBM was still in here in my room working, I had to use it to write my USB sticks or to burn a CD or something because the media writer was broken and wouldn't work in the newer version of Fedora. And I had Fedora 23 on it, and it worked. So sometimes that's it's good to have some of that stuff, and it's good to have a GUI so you can do all that easily. Okay. System tools, text-based internet, and those window managers. I may not need them at all, but I think it might help because here's what I'm going to do now. I'll go over here now. I think I've kind of got it figured out what I want. Now I think what I can do is click in these other ones and add more stuff, and then before I kept trying to click like on whatever desktop. See, it says XFCE. And then I would add things in here. See, some of it's it's already clicked, it's already checked because it's in both of them. But see, it's not all the same thing in every deal. There's differences, but some similarities. But I would never get my desktop when I was done. Well, what I figured out, what I see, and I don't know if that was always in there or what, but it says basic desktop. Now, and there's all kinds of things. There's LibreOffice that pops. I see that right off the bat. Now there's Firefox. Why would that be in there? But there it is. I don't know about these legacy fonts. I don't care about that. I did have, that was a font error though. Isn't that strange? Older bitmap. And that makes me think maybe I should so that, well, that is liable to give it more errors, I would think. So anyway, I want XFCE desktop. Now, I think that's how I can get it because when you click out and go back, that you won't lose any of your selections. So I think that's how you can get a desktop and still be installing all your server stuff, is to go into each section and get what you want. But just to be safe, I'm going to go back and install from Fedora Server Edition. So if it doesn't get all this stuff, if it drops it off, I'll at least have what I really want is the server stuff, and then I have to do the desktop and all that separately. I'll have to go in the command line on it. Well, I can do it remotely in Cockpit if I want. Well, I can do that so I can do a video. But okay, so let's kind of look through this again. Yeah, I don't want more desktops than just one XFCE. Some of the same things: Ansible Node, audio production, C development tools, a lot of the same things. So it makes it kind of confusing to figure it out, what you want, out of these. Then you'll all of a sudden say, oh, that wasn't in the other one, you'll see something. I don't have a good memory for jumping back and forth between things like that. I've been going through here a lot in the last few days, so I'm able to go faster now. Or at least I may skip things that I actually wanted, but actually I'm getting tired and I just want to get it done now. Plus, I'm afraid it's going to error out, so why spend forever, right, at it? And then there's another one called Web Server. Now, it does not have FTP in it, and it doesn't have Basic Web Server in it. And I would guess that if you installed from here, you might not. You might not get Apache. But it does have a lot of other stuff, backends for the web server. Like there's MongoDB, MariaDB, which was in the other one. But there's a PHP web development scripting language. That's the basis of a lot of dynamic websites. That's what they use is PHP. All the files say .php, or I mean most of them. And anyway, there you go. It's a general purpose scripting language. That's what PHP is. Then there's Java stuff, application server. I don't want any Java. It's just too hard to keep people from breaking into it. Tomcat, which is a Java application server for the Java applets and stuff, or apps, or whichever way you should say it. And used to be Java Beans, and then there was Java applets, and I don't know what they're calling it stuff now. And then just back to normal stuff, 3D printing and stuff. Some of the things I've already checked are in there. So you're looking at the same stuff over and over, but then there's other things in there. I mean, it makes sense to have it the way it is, I guess, but I mean, I'm sure it does, but it's hard to go back and forth for me. Keep seeing that security lab, but don't click on that one. Okay, now there's another one, development and creative workstation. I don't think there's anything in there that I would want. Haskell, programming language. Okay. Legacy software development, compatible with previous releases. I remember hearing a lot, seeing them MongoDB a lot. I don't really. No SQL database. So does the same functions, but it doesn't use SQL. Camel, I see that all the time when I'm looking up stuff. Perl for the web. Okay, PHP, there that is again. Ruby on Rails, that's in another one, I think. That's one of the earliest ones I ever heard of, but I never learned anything about it. Web platforms, web application stack. You see, like if I go back to basic desktop, for instance, I'll make double check. It did not lose XFCE or any of that stuff I checked. So it should work. I don't see why it wouldn't install what stayed checked, you know. So now I should be getting XFCE desktop. And then there's custom. Let's see if there's anything I would want out of custom. Yeah, agents used when running in hypervisor. I saw that already. Okay. I don't know where you get the whole hypervisor. I think unless it's Box, but no, it's not Box. That's like the trimmed down basic version for people that don't know how to use hypervisor. I know that. So I don't know where the hypervisor setup, the whole thing is. It's probably in here somewhere. Could have another name, like Box. Maybe that is it. I don't know what they got now. You know. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to go back to Fedora Server Edition, and nothing should have changed. I want to make sure I have FTP and basic web server. It's not. They're not in. I don't know how they figure out how they organize it. But makes it hard to find things. It goes ABC, and then it'll start over again. RPM development, it's up here somewhere. Got to be careful because you'll accidentally uncheck something. I left my audio on over on the laptop, or you'll check something by accident. You click in the wrong place. There's the load balancer. Hopefully I can make that work. I know it's in there somewhere, but I don't see it. I'm almost certain this is the one it was in. Can't believe I don't see it. Unless it did get unchecked. There it is, basic web server. Okay. So that's what I want. So we're going to hit done now. Takes a long time to do all this, and then if it does, crash and burn, error out, then it's very upsetting. Okay, now we're ready to begin installation. Yeah, nothing else to do here. Okay. Well, there's more to do, just not right there. I'm gonna have to make my root password, and I'm gonna make a regular user too. Because what I'll do when I have a GUI is log into the regular user if I want to. I wouldn't log into the root user just to use the machine, Okay. Messed up. Let's see if that was it. If they match. Oh, yeah, I guess they match, right? Yeah. Oh, they do not match. Okay, well, I'll just start over because I don't know where. Yeah, I'll start over. Dang it. Okay. Now, make me a user, and I always just use my name spelled with, properly, and then it always gives you the lowercase version of that as a suggested username, and so that's the way I want it. And I don't want to make it administrator. That complicates things. If you don't make it administrator, then anytime you need root privileges in Fedora, you'll just be asked for root. You won't be asked for no sudo junk. If you're in, the Bane's the same way, but Ubuntu drives me nuts. You may be asking for root password, or it might be asking for sudo user, which is your own password. And in my opinion, it lets you do things that you shouldn't be able to do with your own password as sudo. Or the other users, like if you have more than one user on there. Anyway, I don't know how that goes because I've never made more than just a root and a user for me. Well, yeah, I have. I have in other machines. I don't know about a Ubuntu machine. I've made one for me, one for root, and then one for someone else several times. and ran them for years. But anyway, but you can set them up to where you could do more than, well, the easiest way to do it is you just know the root password and they don't. then you're good. But there are other ways to, like, kind of like sort of like Windows, where there'd be like a admin user and then a non-admin user, regular user, I think they call it. Okay, let me type this password now. Okay. Okay, looks like they match. Advanced user configuration. Why did I get that? Cancel. I clicked match. Oh, I clicked advanced because that's where you would expect the OK button to be. I didn't read it. I just clicked the button. You got to go up here to the top left. To make such good software, they sure have some crazy ways of setting some things up. It's my favorite distribution, always has been. One reason, I guess, that's what I learned on. I started with one called. It was based on Fedora. It was a Fedora remix called Blag Linux, and I forgot what that meant. Blag meant it's a England slang term that means kind of like foul things up. That's what it means. I remember looking that up on his website, and I used it from Blag 5 to Blag 9. And Blag 9, when it came out, there was some bugs in it, and it just kept crashing and wouldn't run. So then I had no choice, and I waited around a little while, and so finally, after a few days or a week or whatever, I knew it was built. I had learned by then, that it was built on Fedora and all that. What I liked about it is it was all ready, set to go. I mean, it had more apps. It took me a year or so more to learn all, what apps I liked and what apps. So learn, I mean, I didn't have to go find them. They were all there, and everything I needed and more. And anyway, I went to, started learning how to, with Fedora, you get, especially back then, you got a very basic system. You just got one, you didn't get LibreOffice or OpenOffice. You got one with what was it called? Something with an A. Just one file manager, one file editing, document editing app, and it was all right, but it would crash a lot. And anyway, so that's when I started learning how to install, find and install apps. And then luckily, on another machine, I decided to try out Artist X. Came out on Debian Etch&a Half. I think it was Debian 4 Etch&a Half. Well, they used Debian 4 Etch&a Half, and then they told you on their website, I started when they very first came out. It said, now you can build your own by just copying and pasting this list of apps into the terminal and hitting enter, and I saved that list on, in the text file, and I would do that, and I built it that way, and it said it'll get you about 99% of the way to the full distro, and it did. It worked. I mean, I never got any further. It was really great. I liked it. And let's see. I just remembered. Is that when I started running Debian? When I had the trouble with Blag, I might have went straight to Debian. I remember I ran Debian. I ran that system for 2 years. This is my main system. The only thing I didn't like, there's two things I didn't like. Excuse me. With the app, app get commands instead of yum install, I could never remember them because they had hyphens and dashes in them and stuff. when I was wanting to install something or do something simple in the, it's simple to do with installing a program or something, or running updates. So we're at 68 of 1,491. So far, so good. We didn't get any early problems like I did before. Of course, I didn't have that software, that security lab. But that might have been when I started with the Bane and then went back. Yeah, I think I did, and then I went back to the Fedora 2 years later after Blag 9. And Blag just disappeared for years, and then it came back for a little while, years and years later. And I played with it. There was like Blag 14 and 15 or 15 and 16 or something. But by that time, I had completely gotten all into Fedora, and it just didn't. I liked, the real Fedora better by that time because I'd learned enough. But that's what made me love in Linux instantly, was that Blag Linux remix. But the guy was one guy doing it, and I think he had a few helpers, but he didn't have like a big bunch of helpers like most of these big projects do. And so he just got to where he, didn't have time to keep it going. Because he would write on his website what was going on and everything. Well, except for when, I guess what happened when Blag 9, I guess he was in the middle of, like working at the bugs, and then I think like stuff went on, where he didn't have time in his personal life or something, and he didn't. I remember there was no answer. Everybody was used to him answering back and answering questions and all that stuff, and there was no answer out of him for months and months. And everybody was like, "Where's Blag? Is it dead?" And all that stuff. And when you try to go find what's wrong with it, what's going on with this, and what's wrong, and how do we fix it, and all that. And people loved it, and they tried to fork it over and build it themselves, but that didn't really take off. But and anyway, and so in the Bane, then later on, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw the simple little heading of a script, and I learned to just put yum install -y so that it says yes to everything. Yum y install, I think it's yum install -y or yum -y install, I can't remember now. And then you put every app you want to install in a constant list. Well, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either do a constant list with a space after every one, and then, well, you don't put returns. You want to take out all the returns, that'll break it. And if you could read it, some text that it depends on how many apps you have in there, but text file editors can only go up to so many characters. But anyway, you can look at it in WordWrap, that's fine, but just don't have any returns. And I used Libri, or I say Libri because that's what I use now, but I used OpenOffice to find and get rid of all the returns and everything to build my script. And what I would do is there's commands you can run to make a text file list of every app that's installed on your system. So when I would build a new system, I could run that on the new system. And then I realized in the last few years that actually you can have one app listed on each line. Just hit enter, and they can be just in one column though, up, from top to bottom. That's how like if you do any run any commands to I've seen other people doing it, and I realized it would work. And that's how the Kickstart file is for, this is the Anaconda installer. Well, it uses Kickstart files to tell it what apps to install. That's how it's made. Each app is on one line, so you can have returns if you do it that way, but not if you're going to do it in a list. I actually do both now. I use some of my favorite apps that I remember. I type them in one section at the top, and they're all one right after the other with a space between, and then I go down, leave an empty space just for beauty, and then I start my one app at a time. But that's usually my group install commands, and this is going to go on for a while, so I'll get on instead of just letting you watch that thing roll. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll get one of my scripts out. I've done plenty of videos on them about install scripts, but figure out which way and where I want to go. Let's see what this one is. That's a script right there, so we'll just view it. It should be one like that. Okay, so bin bash inet DNF, and bash, that means the bash terminal, which I can always get an error nowadays that says not found or something. I guess that's because I finally realized lately there's a bash terminals and then there's other kinds of terminals, and so I'm probably not running it in a bash capable terminal. But anyway, you do get an error in this. But this is the only way I know how to. I don't know. This is all I know about writing scripts. This ain't writing anything. I just copy and paste. Then it used to be yum, but now it's DNF. And see the ones, that's a comment. Well, that's not a comment in that case. Those are part of the commands of the comment out means ignore this, but that's not ignored up from there. Those number signs need to be there, and they're part of that script to make it work. And then DNF update. I want to update first Y for yes to everything, and then DNF install. And that's the commands to install the latest version of RPM Fusion. You want that so that everything else will go ahead and work. And then DNF Y install. Can't get play. DNF Y install skip broken. DNF has skip broken. It didn't at first. And then there's a short list of just a very few that I could remember. See, like the app name, no version numbers. And then just a space in between, and that does show like it has a return, but that's because word wrap is on, I think. If it has a return, it shouldn't. Yeah. Okay, now see, no, and you can only go so far, and my list were so long, like 3,500 apps, that you couldn't view it all anyway, but it would still be there and work. So I have word wrap on. Well, I'll just leave it. Yeah, let's go ahead and turn it back on. No, let's leave it off. Okay, so then I have comments in front of everything that I don't. What I did is I ran, I think this is just the output of me running, SU, somewhere I ran, yeah, there it is, DNF group list. And so what I did is I ran the commands to find the groups, and then I commented everything out that I didn't want to be run in my script, and then I put DNF Y group install in front of everything that I wanted to be run. See, like install XFCE desktop. Then I've got another comment there. Y was here in the article. That's an article. I learned how to do that from an article. And but it turns out you can put the Y at the front, or you can put it at the end, is the point of that comment right there. And you can change this. See, I can just, all I have to do is, like, if I don't want something to run, I put a comment in front of it. And if I want one that I haven't ever used before to run, I take out the comment and put DNF Y group install in front of it. These are all groups. So I got LibreOffice, Workstations. See, I can run this. This is what I did on the one Nova i5 that I'm streaming from right now. And I ended up doing it a couple of times, and I ended up with stuff that actually doesn't work too well, and it slowed down the booting. And things that I haven't tried out yet. I do that. Like I said, I'm a software addict. I tell you, I just have to install stuff thinking I'm going to install it, try it out later, and maybe I will, maybe I won't. But the thing with software like engineering, electronics lab, you can learn. It helps you learn about electronics to try out that software, you know. And I have used those, a lot of those, because for years I've been trying to learn how to build my own electronics. And so, are we running? Seems like it was working kind of slow. It's still working away over there. We're at 676 of 1491, so we're doing pretty good. It seems to be working okay. And well, I'm in KR Viewer. I was going to say, what am I in? So all these groups, I just went through after running the commands, and like I said, I was following this article that showed you exactly what commands to run and how to find hidden groups. With the command called group v hidden, that's something like that. And then I went back and turned it into the script. And I didn't sit there and type the number sign over and over and over and over. I used LibreOffice to add that number sign at the beginning. That's why there's a space there, like a tab at the beginning. I couldn't get it to not do that, but actually it didn't. I was afraid it wasn't going to work because of that, but it doesn't hurt a thing. It actually just makes it look prettier, and it works. So, and I've made videos several times. If you're interested, you can search on my. I'm pretty sure I've named them right where you can find them on my channel. I may have to eat another cough drop. Getting that tickle in my throat that won't go away. Maybe I should try the other one this time. I haven't. I'm not sure if there's a. Well, I think that other one helps more with the pink bag helps more with the drainage, but I think right now I have a terrible tickle. Well, it could be from drainage. What else would it be from? Anyway, I'm going to try the other one. Yeah, they're the yellow bag. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I kind of had a feeling maybe I should, so I'll try it. Live CD tools. Now that's where you can actually, that live CD tools is actually to make your own remix, but it's command line stuff to make your own live CD. And I think one time I made one in the command line. There was an app. Fedora 11 was the last time I saw it work. It was a GUI app. You could build your own remix from your live system. And I had it work once, but then Fedora 11's too old to really use. I still have it. It's a 3 gigabyte ISO, and for all these years, I really didn't. The only thing I had I could put it on was a CD. I didn't have a USB stick. I couldn't really afford to buy one. Now, I bought a few things, and I'm going to have to quit. This application's not really. See, and all that stuff's none of that. That's all commented out. But anytime I want to add or take away and run it on another machine or rerun it on this machine, I can. And then at the end, I did the NFY update again. Some of them are repeats because when you run those commands, you may get the same groups. I was trying to see. Oh, here we go. There we go. Group, DNF group list v hidden. And so those are all from the hidden command. And actually, yeah, see, there's a few like networking and dial-up networking. Printing support. Well, I guess it just says printing support. It doesn't say, network printing, but it may be what it means. Multimedia group, administration tools, ARM tools. Several things that I wanted. Fedora Packer, that would be for building a Fedora remix, I guess. FTP server. And I ran this, I'm pretty sure this is the one I ran on, or one like this on my system that I'm running right now. VMware platform support. VMware is the one I knew about. Hypervisor type virtual. I think Hypervisor is one brand and VMware is another brand of virtual machines for servers for enterprise. VirtualBox is, well, the one I use is aimed at in regular users. Oh, that I know they use it in business, but that's the icon I'm pointing to up there. Oracle VirtualBox. It's easy to. It's the easiest one I've ever used, and I learned. It wasn't totally easy, but once I learned it, I remembered it. So That's the one I usually always use, even though it's not completely open source and everything. It's not fully functional. There are some things like it won't support. It used to wouldn't support USB 2.0. Well, I guess it still only supports, because the other day I tried to turn on 2.0. It has 1 and 2 and 3 listed. USB that it'll support, devices, but I mean it'll work with the USB 2.0 device, but it'll only work at 1.0 speed, and that's because it's the free version. So I'd like to use open source stuff, but the others are harder to use, quite a bit harder. And I looked at that box one, and it was easy to set up, the one that came with Fedora 28 here, but first thing I tried a couple of different ISOs, and they didn't work, and I didn't want to keep fiddling with it. So I just went ahead and installed VirtualBox and started using it. I got my Windows XP VM in there and got it activated and everything. Of course, and it still gets updates because I set it up as like a WinTerm as a enterprise system, and still gets security updates. But in 2019 they're going to quit that, so then it will be probably get viruses every time you just open it up, because it does connect to the internet. That's what happened with my Windows XP machines that I had. Within a day, just within a week of them stopping support, people just, well, of course, I think they just did that just to be horses' butts. I think they were just scanning the internet looking for, with scripts, looking for XP machines to attack. But they got machines I had, that I had that were not infected, got infected a week to 2 weeks after that, just by turning them on and not even surfing the internet, just turning them on. But of course, it could be, maybe it was Microsoft doing that to try to scare you into buying Vista. You never know, do you? Okay, so anyway, that's something that really helps me build a new system and not spend. There's different ways to do groups. Like, for instance, this is a real good way, except for there's a lot more in that script than there is in this menu here. But say you didn't want to go through what I just showed you, then use the NetInstall, and you don't have, well, there should still be just a regular NetInstall, not Fedora, not server NetInstall. It always has been. It is slower to install because it's downloading everything, and of course it's doing pretty good, but I turned on to get the newest stuff. That I know that usually takes twice as long. I used to do it years ago when I didn't have a 200 megabits down and 10 up speed. But went completely blank while I was trying to talk. The regular NetInstall, all those check boxes I was checking in here, it's going to be very similar, and but it just won't. There may not be anything about servers in there, or it won't be targeted towards servers. I would say it probably just won't be targeted towards servers. You could probably still install server things in it. You used to could. And you could build up your system. You could just see in those groups, as long as you don't have errors like I had yesterday, where you can see in those groups, oh yeah, that's the kind of software I want, and click that box and it installs it for you automatically. I mean, this is easy, right? As long as it works. Yesterday it didn't. It hung up. It had 2 problems, big problems. But if it doesn't hang up, it's getting on up there now. It's getting to 895 of 1491. It's jumping back and forth there. It's different, showing you what file it's installing. It's jumping around, but you can watch where it is, how close it is to being done right there. But it was going along just fine yesterday too, and then it hung up. It was around in the same area of, you know, blue bar edge there. Then it hung up. Fatal error. Showed you that. But let's see, I have, what's this one? Terminal output, DNF list. Let's see what this one is. I have, oh, well, this is the one. I think this is from a system. DNF list apps, Fedora 23, Lenovo i5, 02, 18, 18. So it's a pretty new one, and it's a script, and it's just like I was saying, the way I used to do it. It has been bad, you know, DNF, Y install, skip, broken, acetone ISO, and then a space. And it has the actual version number. That works too. And this I got by running that command I was talking about that makes these lists. It just gives you a text file. There may be a mistake in there. I don't know, maybe they're just separating that. No, I don't think so. I think that's might be a return. Okay, see that it's saying temporary raise the limit and reload the file. This is probably not set to not. Well, it's got word wrap on, but let's see what the note says. Containing lines longer, lines longer than the configured line length. The longest of those lines is, and the lines were wrapped, and the document to set to read only. As saving will modify the content. So yeah, you have to use an editor that can handle it. This is just KViewer. I just used the default one in here. But you can temporarily raise the limit so you can just look at the file the way it should. Now it doesn't look funky like that. But it does still look word wrapped. So, but I think that it's okay. This looks like one that I've ran before. Well, I guess, but anyway, I think it's being that it's pretty new, it's probably okay. But yeah, manually editing these things is impossible. You've got to use like LibreOffice or Word, you know, something to find and replace the space, like doubles 2 or 3 spaces in a row. You just want one space, and all the returns. Find and replace those. And let's see if we turned off word wrap, what it would do. Well, now it's got one wrap in it. Let's see, that whole document, you couldn't even page through the whole thing because there could be a space there. Looks like there's just one space. It may be alright, but if that's got like a return there, looks like it's just a space. It's hard to tell sometimes. But with skip broken in there, it will just skip all those ones after that, see, if it is broken. Because if there's 2 spaces or if there's a return in there, it breaks the script. So you got to really work at it to get them to working right. But anyway, the reason I did that is to rebuild a system on a newer version of Fedora. But it works until you get to, like my Fedora 14 is the one, some really good ones I have with lots and lots of apps. But they're saying FC14, you know, so, and they weren't, it wasn't even 32-bit, I mean 64-bit, so it doesn't say x86-64, it'd say like FC14. Some in here, and there's probably some that say the, what version. Well, I think I learned to take that out. You have to rework those. Let's go back to word wrap. Yeah, I think I took out all the like FC. This would have been Fedora 23. It would say FC 23. But then I got to realizing, well, why do I leave in? I thought you had to leave in the x86-64 for it to work. But in most apps, you don't. Like I just showed in that other script, you'd actually be better off. So they would run on any version, old or new. I mean, there's going to be apps that are there or not there, but there are some that you have to have exact version numbers and everything, but most of them you don't. So when I build it, I want to build another one, either rebuild this one or say, this one's got a bunch of stuff that I don't have. This one here from Fedora 23 has a bunch of apps that I'd like to have that are not in my new system. So I would like to rebuild this one. I haven't ever got around to it. And take out the everything, the dot, x86-64. Some of it, like that right there, I don't know what that is, but I got a feeling that would not work. ADD64, it probably would need that. So it'd be a little tricky, but I would like to maybe try it. What you could do is run this one and then run the other one, run them both, and then you'd have two chances to get pretty much all the apps you want. Because this is kind of down and dirty way to do it. It does not get everything. You may get 75%, you may get 95%. You don't know till you try it. And you may have a bunch of orphan apps when you get done, which you can go and, well, you could in Yum. I don't know how, if DNF can even really do that, but you can say remove orphans and stuff and just get rid of them without having them just hanging around. They don't hurt anything, but they're there, and they have to be, they're taking up space, which is not a lot of space with this stuff, but it can add up. If you're like me, especially on, I don't know how many apps I had in this system, but on my Fedora 14 I have like 3,700 apps, I think, or something. And I know I've never used them all either, but I still got them. Let's see, where are we? Well, we're at 1,329. That bar, see, it doesn't look like, looks pretty far off the end compared to where we're at. We're a lot closer than that. But I was going to say, let's see if I have one. Yeah, here's one. Okay, now this is, just open that. That'll have to open in LibreOffice. That's a CSV file. When you first get your text file, that's still from when I was building that. So, well, I'll show you. It's a little trick I figured out. Now I'd ask you, what do you want to do with all of it? Actually, I think I would want to select space. Yeah, that makes it have another column when there's a space. That does help. Yeah, see, and that's about it. Sometimes I would add like another character. Let's see. Oh, okay. You see now. Here's how the columns look, right? And it shows. And what you see, it still has .x86-64. So what I was thinking of doing, say, put a period in there. Okay, now they're divided like that. Now you don't have x86-64. You don't have no arts. You just have the app name. And in most cases, that would install the right thing. So, number of columns, that was too big for it. So, but it did open. That's weird. Oh, it made them go, I never thought about that. It made it go too far to the right, too many columns to the right. Now, see, then what you can do is the things you don't want, like say I wouldn't want those, you select them all like that and hit delete. And you go on and you find the things you want and the things you don't want. Now I'm going to close this before I mess that file up. Now here's where that comes from. Okay, here is DNF group list. That's probably going to be, going by the judging, well, oh no, that's the list commands. Okay, not what I was thinking. This may be it right here. Okay, this is what you get when you run that command. DNF list at, well, that's not the command, but it in here? No, I don't have the command in here. This is what you get. That's why you can open it up and you just open it up with LibreOffice instead of the KWrite, and it will do what I just did. And then I saved it as a CSV so that I could open it back up and work on it again and stuff like that. CSV is, you know, the like the Excel file format, you know, for OpenOffice. Anyway, that you got to clean all this up, and manually you'd never get it done with just that many. See, that's not that many. That's nothing compared to what I had in my Fedora 14 system. But there's another one, group install from Fedora 23, from spins and stuff. But I've been making these for years. Let's go see where we are on our. Oh no! Oh frick no! Same dadgum error. Exactly the same error. I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm having all this trouble just simply installing. This is the same thing that happened yesterday. The only difference is I didn't start out with that, you know, one group that has a bug in the. I was trying to get a screenshot of that and it didn't work. I'll use Shutter. Following error occurred while installing, and it's right around the and it just has to just get you by doing it towards the end when you think you're almost there. Now this is not the kind of thing I have fun with. This is the kind of thing that I can't stand. Dang it. I have no idea how to do anything about this. I didn't do this yesterday before I closed that. Let's go and I really did not expect to have all this trouble today. I really actually had a lot of trouble today. Dang you. Dang you, Fedora. You may be free, but you can really be aggravating. But see, this is how Red Hat gets their enterprise software all figured out and bugs out, and they let we're all beta testers is what we are, in case you didn't know that. Okay, so I didn't even bother to look this up. Well, I was too tired to even care yesterday. Let's see what it says. Aborted Fedora. Oh, this is 28. I didn't have that problem ever in Fedora 28. Okay. Can you reword it? Well, how could you be any... NetInstall. Same problems. They hadn't fixed it yet? This is 29. While selecting different packages. Got it during the installation. Oh, I see. They just clicked install the workstation. And then Cinnamon. Yeah, other than English. Me neither. Doesn't happen from installing from a live image. Don't install authoring and publishing. And what I don't know is how to install text afterward or not get the same problem. So maybe that would make it work. Maybe that's an answer. Well, I don't know why. Well, I guess I was. Oh, I remember I was so tired I just had to go to bed. I did install authoring and publishing, never ever dreaming that that could be a problem. I don't know why. I really thought I needed that screenshot of that, but never know. It might be helpful. There it is, though. Same error. I've been seeing that more and more problems going on between, from one distro to release to the next. Let's see, though, that might not be the answer just because. Oh, I forgot to. What have I done? I made that do that by typing. I forgot to hit the. I missed the key or something. I think I have it. Yeah, highlight all is selected. That makes it act different than I want it to. Seems to be the only place where it's really listed is that one. That says DNF error, non-fatal position. That's different. I think that's pictures. Yeah. Well, I need a break. I know that, so I can't go back and start reselecting all that stuff again. And see, you can't go back. There's no back button. You're done, and then you got to start over again if you're gonna do anything. But now I know that it would have probably would have happened if since I would kept selecting that same software. Would have happened in Fedora 28 too, which I'm surprised of. I'm also getting hungry. I guess it's about my supper time because I did wake up at 3:30 this morning. I already had breakfast and lunch. I had lunch quite a while ago, I guess. I'm gonna have to have a break. I'm just debating about whether to. Yeah, I want to get this done. I fully expected to get this done today. Installer didn't. I was gonna say it's not exiting, but when you do that, that breaks it shuts down your VNC connection. So it's just a frozen screen now. I don't think you can reconnect to it either. Let's just see. I didn't try yesterday. Oh, you can. I don't think the installer is exiting properly. Maybe it isn't finished exiting because you can reconnect to it. Yeah, I didn't try that yesterday. I got to thinking after I went and read the screen, on the terminal on the NetPro Max. I went and read it before I shut it down, and I thought, well, looks like maybe everything's still up and running. Maybe the exit installer is not working. Maybe there's a back button hidden somewhere in there. Click on it and hit escape. Hit the back button on my mouse. I have a back and forward buttons on my mouse with that. Well, it works in some things besides the web browser, but mostly just the web browser. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the exit's even working. Look at that. It didn't actually work. What did I just do? Oh, I hit the wrong one. I was trying to hit that one to make it fit the screen. Then you can hit F11. So, I'm going to have a break. But yes, I do want to. That's the only thing I know to do. I don't. If I can get that to work, I don't want to just install the basic server and then manually. Those scripts I was just showing, I could run them on it, but that's going to install the things that I have on my desktop. I don't want that much stuff on there, because the more you have on your machine, the more things you're going to have running in the background, and that's not a powerful machine. So I really just want the things that I really think I need, like I just did. So yeah, I'm sitting there touting how neat that NetInstaller is, and now it seems to be buggy. So I do remember going around and around with it before. Maybe that, now that I think about it, I remember when it worked, it was great, but I did have the same types of problems. You clicking on things and having errors and stuff. I don't remember any details though. So, but yeah, if you keep getting that randomly, then just install the basic one and then make make you a script. I used to have my scripts on my website, on my FTP section of my website, where you could download them, but I quit doing it. Quit running the FTP server because people kept trying to log into it to try to jack it up. And I didn't have a login. It was just, here you go, files are free, take them if you want them, but it's read only. So anyway, I'm gonna really have to have a break. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna say. I know I'm getting hungry. If I eat, then it's gonna be another hour or so, and then since I got up at 3:30, I may be too tired to start this over again today. As bad as I hate to put it off another day, I'll just see, I guess. All right. It'll be, if it's not this evening, then it'll be probably tomorrow when I come